So, anytime we should be on here.
Machine not working.
All right, we're live. Welcome to the second episode of Out of the Groove podcast. This is Dylan, myself, Nick. We got Mitchell, or Mitch.
I'm out. Out of the groove.
Out of the draft. Out of the draft. It's so hard to say. Out of the draft podcast. All right, that was a big ups on me. Sorry, I was thinking of Eric Estef there. Shout out. And we also got Dylan, who is the fourth member of our thing. Done with it down there. You see his little name. He actually was supposed to come last week, but he had something to do, so that's why. But everyone say welcome.
What's up, guys? What's up? Happy to be here for episode 2.
All right. Well, big week.
Big week. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We should probably start into Xfinity just because that's not the main reason why we're here.
Right.
Xfinity was really fun to watch. I didn't watch the first 21 laps that was supposed to be on Friday night. Then, of course, everything went to Sunday. But I did not watch that because, of course, I worked. So there wasn't really much to talk about, right? I don't think.
The only thing notable anyway is that Allmendinger had trouble early. That's about it.
Okay.
Which was a bummer because that was obviously my pick to win.
Oh, yeah.
But other than that, nothing really happened.
I almost did pick the winner. He came up one spot short.
Who you picked Gregson?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, you did.
That's dope.
Oh.
And then, of course, when we went to Sunday, it was a really good race. I think it was probably the best one. Actually, no, I think the Cup race was actually really good this weekend. I think the Xfinity finish, of course, was a little bit more exciting on everyone's stance. Of course, mine, I'm going to always pick anyone but Truex. But I think, in general, Josh Berry winning was great for the sport. It was great for everything around the sport because, we come from late short tracks, late models, things like that. That's where most people grow up on.
Right.
Of course, you have your dirt as well and things like that. But we went to our grassroots, and somehow he pulled off a win on, a company that has been more towards, if you have the money, you win. It's not really all about talent here the last few years. But obviously, you can see that the talent prevailed versus the actual thing, It
was really cool to actually see. It was his 13th start, I believe. 13th, 14th start, got his first win. That's awesome. His first starts were back in, I believe, 2008 to 2009. He made a handful of starts. To see him actually be able to, come up from the late models after leaving those short starts. They were at Junior Motorsports as well. That's awesome. And then to see Junior get so emotional, we haven't seen that type of emotion out of Junior. I mean, I know in his video he was saying that, he hasn't cried ever. I mean, I believe he probably cried at that Daytona when he had after his father passed. But this was a different...
No, I'm sure he did.
This is a different type of win altogether. This was this is like, in a way you could look at it, Barry was, he brought him up, and he finally seen him succeed. And then also touching on that, Junior was saying that with the next gen car, maybe get into Cup racing, Josh Berry would be that person that he would try to plug to help build that organization for Cup.
I was really surprised by that. I mean, I'm not surprised about it completely because of obviously the next gen is going to help a lot with the funding and so on. So that's why I'm not surprised. But really, I didn't peg Junior to even want to go to Cup, really. But
I feel like
he does.
I feel like he does want to go Cup, but at the same time, I think he doesn't want to compete with Hendricks. I think honestly, he's in the
they
best
would probably align though.
That benefits him and Hendricks because he has the ability to bring talent in to take to Cup. I think he should go one step further though and actually start a truck team, not 4 cars. I think maybe 2 trucks. I think when you start getting into if you start getting more than that, you're going to start going through the same issue that Toyota's going through with not enough seats and all these drivers.
You know, like with him, you know, saying, you know, because of the next gen, we had to sit down and talk about it. Like that was his actual wording. You know, that just shows how promising that is for the future of the sport. Because like, if yes, he's already an owner, but just think of like he was a no cup kind of guy. He was like, nah, Xfinity's where we're at. That's all we need to focus on. You know, cup. That was my dad's thing. DEI. That's no, we ain't gonna do that.
Right.
But he realized like we could be wasting a lot of money if we don't do it. You know, like. Sorry, I feel hear my dad in the background. But yeah, I don't. You know, it is what it is. I personally think eventually he'll go Cup, but that also means that Hendrick's funding in JRM has to go away. So like the backing of the 9 car in Xfinity will completely be out of there, which I think would be better for JRM. I think it would be because it would give them a way to actually promote, like, you know, the guy who's been sitting there for 4 years, like Justin Allgaier. He would actually have a good seat in Cup for the first time ever.
Right.
So like, I think that would be a good start. Like, he's always consistent, no matter where he's at. He's a really good road course and short track guy, and that's where, you know, the sport's leading to. There's more of that. So I think, that would be great. I could just see that happening. I know, you know, Dylan, you're big on Dale Jr. So do you have any thoughts?
He didn't have his headset on.
I was grabbing something.
I know you're big on Dale Jr. Like that's your guy. What's your thoughts about it? Like,
I mean,
should they go Cup?
Should they? Yeah.
I mean, eventually, yeah. But I'm trying to think what numbers you think they'd have.
I think the 88.
Yeah.
I think they would try to get the 8 from RCR, and I think they would try to get the 88. I think I would see them starting as a 2 team. I don't see them going out there as a single car organization. If they do,
no way.
Especially when it comes to like Daytona, things like that. Then it's a 5th man out. It doesn't work as well as, 4-man teams work good. 2-man teams work good. I mean, you look at the Penske organization. Technically, you could say that's a 3-man team, but then you throw in the 21, and it becomes a 4-man team.
Right.
But
the 33 now,
and now they got the 33
and 33. Yeah,
that's more. That reminds me of when they had Sam Hornish Jr. in the 71.
77.
77.
Yeah. That was odd. I feel bad for Sam. I mean, this is obviously going way back now, but I thought Sam had so much potential and just never really caught the right breaks. And I think it was when Kurt maybe had something going on. I don't remember what it was. But long story short, he filled in for someone for 5-6 weeks, something like that. And ran like top 10.
Didn't Kurt Busch cuss out Michelle Obama or something?
I don't know what it was.
Yeah, I think it was something like that. Like he said something to her, and all the sponsors were like, no.
So it was something stupid, yeah. I don't remember quite what it was. Cause, I mean, this is like 07, 08 now, but he did great. And Penske just overlooked him. Like, they were like, oh, thanks for filling in. Like, see ya, Well,
they did bring him into the 77, which, I mean, when I think of Sam Hornish Jr., I think of him in the All-Star race at the Coke 600. That car was sideways going down the backstretch because they had the off the steering off. The skew on it, yeah. Like that's the first thing that pops in my mind, and he was just driving away from everybody else. Granted, it wasn't a lot of big guys. Yeah.
I think Sam Hornish was rushed into Cup. I think that's why when he went back to Xfinity in the 12 car, that's why he won a bunch of races too.
Right.
It was perfect for him. That series was like kind of like IndyCar, kind of what he was used to. Not as big of a schedule at the time. Now Xfinity now has a bigger schedule, but at the time it was a less schedule, more road courses than Cup was. Everything was what he was used to back then. That's why you would see him and Danica race together a lot, because when she was in the 7 car at that time, that's when she did really well. I mean, yeah, of course she wasn't up front like leading laps, but she was in the top 5, top 10 most of it.
Yeah, it's solid. Yeah.
So I think
she wrecked a lot less. We'll say that
she did.
Yeah, a lot less.
She still wrecked, but a lot less.
She still wrecked. Just this time it wasn't her fault most of the time.
Running over shoes and such.
Yeah, running. Dude, she had that race won. I know she would have. Like I don't.
She really did, man. That's the only race. I don't either. She had a quick car that day. She did.
Yeah.
I was so surprised.
Back to the Martinsville, because we've gone way off topic now. Martinsville, the ending was awesome. That's about all I saw of it. It was really cool to see Noah Gregson and Daniel Hemrick racing. I was expecting a big bumper to come eventually, and they actually raced pretty clean. I think they just agreed to disagree and don't touch me, I won't touch you. Sorry, that sounds wrong. My fault. But
didn't they make contact though coming to the line?
No.
I'm pretty sure they did.
No, Hamburg put a big bumper to him.
Yeah,
3 and 4 coming to the checkered.
Coming to the checker, which that's racing.
Yeah,
right. But it wasn't like he did it.
He definitely did it. Like if it was anybody else, he would have. Yeah.
Right.
True.
It was kind of. I mean, obviously it was last lap, but it was more of a bump than what he would have put to someone else on the last lap.
And it still didn't work.
Yeah.
No, Gregson came home. He won the dash for cash. So.
And we gotta give it up.
Oh, he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ty Gibbs, the worst driver in the field already. His average finishes is like a 2.5. Terrible, honestly, for 3 races. As an 18-year-old, he should be way better than that. Finishes
could win all those races.
Yeah,
finished
4th, the worst finish of the season. Terrible driver.
In that equipment, he better. If he doesn't perform in the top 10, he is not potential worth.
He banished from Gibbs.
Banished.
Honestly, no, I can't wait to see this kid racing against Kyle Busch because it's going to be fun to see.
Yep,
I think he either goes. He's going to go to the 19 or the 11, more than likely.
So I guess congrats to Josh Berry. And then now we're on to Cup. We only did 41 laps, 42.
Oh, Go ahead. One disappointment about Josh Berry though, no burnout.
He didn't burn out. I missed the end of that race. So I didn't know.
So, he parked it on victory or on the start-finish line, which I get it, but they don't do that in late models.
Right. I think that's what it is. They like to save their equipment. They don't want to burn it up. Like, that's his style, and that's exactly the way he would have won. Like, I feel like it was perfect for his thing, but we love burnouts. Like,
exactly.
Especially first-time winners and such.
Oh, yeah. I want to see if you don't hit the wall when you're doing a burnout on your first win. Did you even win?
Did you even win?
Hit the wall and don't win.
Oh, no.
There's a lot of those.
All right, so Saturday night. It was supposed to be a Saturday night Martinsville race. That was very unfortunate because I would have loved to see that. It got rained, of course. We went to 4 p.m. We raced 41 laps. Surprised we even did that. Like, I don't know how.
I was shocked. I was so shocked they even did that.
Well, they were looking at the weather, and they knew it was supposed to rain. However, looking at it, they thought it was going to be they expected a lighter rain than what they got after that. Because it only takes them an hour to clean that track up.
Oh, yeah.
Barely.
So it's, and that's what I think they were hoping, like, hey, get the race started. We know we're going to have a late or caution, red flag for the rain. Maybe the rain's lighter. We can get this race going again.
Yeah. And,
the rain tires.
Thomas went away, but
so I guess we can just jump right into stage 1, Ryan Blaney,
sorry about that.
Congratulations to him. I mean, he had another dominant car in his career and still didn't win. Something came up. That's just his luck. That is just his luck. He wins. Okay, so he wins on like the craziest finishes or stuff like that.
Like the Roval, the first race there.
Yeah, first ever win. He got it because they all wrecked.
No, that was the second one.
He's talking about crazy.
First one was Pocono.
His first one was Pocono.
First one was Pocono. You're right. And still, like that was like
not expected.
Right.
That was a crazy. Harvick was harming his butt,
hounding him.
I mean, that was impressive for real. And then, he leads a bunch of laps all the time. Wins stage 1 and stage 2. Actually, I forgot about that.
Yep. Barely won stage 2.
And then here he goes. Of course, he gets a penalty for driving over his gun.
Equipment.
His gun.
Yeah, taking it out of the box.
Which
that was the most, but according to that was probably the most clear cut case. Equipment out of the box.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Like we've seen it where the guy's trying to do a wedge adjustment and he rips it out, but as he's falling, the equipment goes out of the box at the same time. Gas can, I can't remember where it was, but just the nozzle crossed the line after being tipped over by a crew member. That was the most clear case of equipment taken out of the box I've seen, besides Martin Truex running it over at Daytona or Talladega. Chase Elliott's gas can.
Yeah.
So, that was great. He came back to finish 11th, by the way. He had the top 10 with a white flag, and then Kyle Busch, I heard, bumped him out of the way for 10th. Which is kind of funny. I didn't know that until 2 hours ago.
Yeah, they were really focused on the winner. They didn't stay with the coming back to the flag. Everybody else, because there's always a lot of good battles,
right?
And that's
especially
the problem
there. I mean, everyone's on top of each other.
So how? So we're gonna get into the actual finishing result, because then we can talk about Cody Ware and all that. I feel like that's next because he was the only type of Rex besides the big one, which we can just talk about that right now. So do you think that Chris Buescher came down on Kyle Busch and turn two to cause that, or do you think he just?
I think it was a combination of getting loose and a flat tire because of where they hit, but prior to the turn, we see people's tires go down all the time, and it's Martinsville. There's no inner liner. As soon as that tire goes down, you're coming around.
I think so. Obviously, they shoved Buescher up the track. I think he got loose from the angle of the exit.
Okay.
And came down, and the way that they almost connected, it almost looked like both cars hopped. And the way it looked to me was maybe both their front, Busch's front right and Buescher's front left, connected, and it almost connected like that. Almost similar to the Logano-Truex situation, just instead of them fishtailing all over the place, they straight wrecked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I think personally, but I don't know.
There's a lot of angles that it could go. There's multiple ways.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we saw Daniel Suarez. So he comes off a top 5 finish, Bristol Dirt. And then,
that was my other pick, man.
And then, all of a sudden, he just didn't show up. He just did.
Well, I mean, they did have to start from the rear because of that penalty. Ballast in the jack post. That reminds me of Darrell Waltrip back when they used to put lead shot in those.
and then they would have
same difference.
They would have a little button under their seat where they would let some out at the end of the race for post race. That's funny.
Yeah.
They did that shit that stuff back then.
They did.
But they had the penalty, and that's what put them in the back in the first place. And then I think they ended up spinning out early or something. I only caught bits and pieces because I was at work.
Well, Willie B gave him the crumb.
Well, no, I'm talking.
Oh,
no, I know what you're talking about. I'm talking about early though, because that's what put them 2 laps down.
Yeah,
early.
Yeah, he was 2 laps. No, they either spun out or got a flag. I can't remember exactly which one.
Something like that. Yeah, went 2 laps down and was battling back, and ended up getting on the right side of the pit strategy because, of course, like I said, he was my pick. So I was keeping my eye on him. He ended up, I think it was on fresh tires, but he ended up unlapping himself under green, past Blaney, unlapping himself.
1 lap, yep.
Yeah, and then got the caution, and I think he got the free pass with that. And then was in the back, of course, and then soon after that, he got caught up in that wreck.
Yeah, because he stayed out under that caution with 5 to go in stage 2.
Yeah,
and so yeah, that's what happened. You're right.
I will say, I understand, William Byron sending him, that was old tires versus new tires. He had a checkup way early compared to William Byron. That's part of racing.
I mean,
but at the same time,
I'm not mad at either one of them. But personally, I think Willie could have held it off for another corner. In my opinion.
So Willie was going to be stuck on the outside though.
Well, he was running the outside on purpose because we had the slower cars in the bottom anyways. So he was running.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then he just was like, okay.
Shove him out the way.
Shove him out the way. And then that's why.
Well, he wanted something from Aaron.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really fault either driver, of course. Yeah, Suarez is on older tires, and the bump is what put him further in the pack, got him caught up in the wreck, of course.
Yeah.
It's just the circumstances he put himself in to get himself back on the lead lap, but that's the chance you got to take sometimes, you know?
Started from the unload.
And I was really impressed with 2311 as well, because they came back from their Bristol.
They didn't get the finish they deserved, but they did show.
They ran decent, yeah. I personally expected a little more out of them.
Same.
But they did run okay, I think.
But to lead actual green flag laps without a pit cycle, yes, of course they stayed out, but they pulled away from the pack too as well. So you got to give them credit that they're starting to improve. Like
well, who was on his outside? No offense.
Yeah.
Ryan Newman
on the roof.
Newman, yeah.
I mean,
Ryan Newman's not. We're talking about,
and then
this isn't 2019 Ryan Newman.
I mean, he is still the hardest person to pass.
True, but that's the benefit of controlling a restart is you go when you decide when you all go.
Right.
I mean, yeah. Right. I just what's next? What happened else? Oh, of course, Ryan went to the bag. That was about it, and then so. We were thinking that this year was going to be a 3-team run, like with Penske, Hendrick, and Gibbs. I think this race showed where Penske was at because Brad really didn't show up. He was running back in the pack.
Yeah,
Logano
top 10.
Got lapped by his teammate. Yeah, Blaney was a different story, but that's a whole different,
Right.
I think I think those two cars are pretty similar, and Blaney's by himself. That's what I've always thought, anyways.
I agree.
When you look at it, it's kind of reverse of what it was last year. Last year, you look at the 2 and the 22; they were knocking off wins. They were, competing for wins.
Yep.
Blaney had speed, but he wasn't winning.
So I think this race showed that it is really Hendrick versus Gibbs, versus
and then Ryan Blaney.
Yeah.
Versus Blaney, yeah.
I mean, the top 5, Truex, Elliott, Hamlin, William, and Larson. So,
yeah.
Larson, this is his worst racetrack ever.
And he did dang good.
Yeah, I mean, he was passing Elliott of course, he had fresher tires at one point. And then when Elliott was behind Logano, by the way, impressive that he passed him on the outside on the same.
And then Larson went and followed him up and did it too.
Yeah, that was really impressive. I'm sure Logano
even
was
like what the hell?
At the same time, I would have loved to hear the spotter info on that. Outside, he is passing you on your outside.
Yeah, I bet you would.
Logano's probably in there like, yo, like Ricky Bobby style.
This is
those the other cars out there, man.
This is Martinsville. You don't do that. I mean, you can do that to lap cars and slower cars, which granted, yes, Joey Logano was a slower car that day. However, it's still Joey Logano.
Yep.
Right.
Of course, Truex won. Congratulations to the 19 team. I think James Small.
Did I hear you say that?
I know.
How hard was it for you to say that?
Who are you?
Wait until my win pick. Just wait. Believe it or not. I think Truex finally clicking with him. Last year they only had one win at Martinsville, which is kind of funny.
A year ago, yeah.
But I think
3 of the last 4.
I think finally now they know how to finish the races. They were up there top 5 for like the whole playoffs, but they were never fast enough to get it done. Like they were never the car that you were gonna be like, all right, he's going to go out and be in the Final Four.
Hand him the trophy.
Right.
Yeah, but I think now I think he's better than Hamlin right now. And
in a way, sorry, go ahead.
I thought Hamlin was. I think Hamlin is still the best car in the field right now, just because of the finishes. But I think with speed wise, I think Truex has it.
Yeah, and Truex wasn't too bad all race. He wasn't great either, but
it wasn't until really late that he started to show up.
Well,
right, and
which that's not good. Like you need to start showing. You can't just show up in the last 20 laps and hope to win a race too.
Right. You're not wrong, but at the same time, it shows once again that he is starting to click with his crew chief, and they're making the right adjustments and moving the car in the right direction throughout a race, whether he's dominating or not.
James Small.
That's right.
Australia.
And then, like I said last week in last week's podcast, excluding Martinsville, because I honestly thought he was going to perform a little bit better, but excluding that, he's had really, really good long run speed all year.
Yeah.
And I don't see that fading. I think that's going to be a common trend this season, especially when we get to the summer months. I think we're going to get a lot more green flag runs, and that's when he's going to show up.
That's also something zero green flag runs, like zero.
Right.
There was
stage 2. I think they had the longest one, and that was it.
Yeah, and he went through the field. That's when he was like back in 10th, and he went through the field.
Mm-hmm.
So it shows like he needed a long run to get there, and that's why Hamlin was like, we were 10 laps over our limit. He knew that he was going to get destroyed. That's why he was okay with second, third, but that's why he knew that he wasn't going to win the race.
Hamlin didn't just give it to him though either. He made him work for it. It was a good solid 10 laps.
Yeah.
Getting inside him, but that run off the high line, if you have a decent car, does help maintain that position. It's not going to be a long position, but you can maintain it. But also very impressed with who else was it? Chase Elliott today, or that race. Was watching, didn't have nearly the car he had last fall race. 5th place in stage 1, decent finish. Every stage he improved, which he kind of needed after having that issue at where was it, Vegas? Or no, the issue at Atlanta where they blew up. They really needed that. Just waiting for him to actually knock off a win, though. I'm kind of shocked that William Byron and Kyle Larson both have wins before him this year.
I am shocked about it, but at the same time, I'm not. I knew Larson was going to come firing out the gates. I didn't think he was going to get a win so quick, but I knew he was going to be really strong.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, Byron surprised me. I'll give it to him. I didn't think he was going to win that early in the season at all. I thought it'd be, if he wins, it's going to be 10, 15 races in, not race 3. So I was a little surprising. But, I mean, I'm not surprised that Elliott hasn't won just because of their speed. They haven't been super fast, but they're still sticking right there. They're not too far off.
Who was that? I'm sorry.
Elliott
and William Byron and Kyle Larson. How they both got into the checker flag before Chase so far this season.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I had to. Sorry.
Bowman had a decent car though.
Y'all can keep going.
He had a decent car up to that incident.
Screw that.
Yeah, of course. But
finished what, 30th, I think.
Something like that. Yeah.
He finished way back, unfortunately.
Stuart Haas once again didn't show up, which I'm not surprised that Martinsville didn't expect.
Harvick actually had a better day than expected.
But yeah, that's what I said. But it didn't start that way. Harvick, I feel like he really used his long-term communication and being a veteran, and obviously him and Rodney worked well together. I feel like they got their car working the right way, and then I think all the cautions helped them. It kind of pushed the ending time of the race a little deeper into the afternoon, and I think that the track change really helped Harvick out.
Yeah. All right, so, I'm going on a bold prediction here already. Only Harvick makes the playoffs with Stuart Haas.
That's not bold.
When you think of who they are, when you think of who they are, though, that is not That's not something that they should be doing. They shouldn't be fighting like this.
I completely agree. They are absolutely a top tier team. But like we said last week, Briscoe, he's obviously a rookie, still doing a lot of learning, figuring out these cars and such. Custer, still learning as well, but I do think he should be a little closer to the front. And Almirola just absolutely has no excuses. He should be out there winning and running up front just as much as Harvick should as well. So they're still a little off, obviously, but Almirola and Harvick, as of right now, have no excuses. They should be up front.
Yeah, they should be. Harvick should be running top 5. Almirola should be running top 10s. Yeah, the other two should be top 25. I'm going to say, just because there is no practice, there's not a lot of
right, and there's still a lot of new things being thrown their way, like Bristol Dirt. Of course, obviously, we expected Briscoe to perform. Didn't quite work out. Harvick's
crew chief actually stated that. So in the offseason, NASCAR changed a couple things that they do for pre-race inspections.
Inspections.
And that is what he believes is actually hurting them. They're not able to get away with the things that they normally would do to a vehicle.
Right.
Hey, just FYI, I thought I upgraded to Pro before this meeting on Zoom. I guess it didn't go through. So I have 5 minutes and 30 seconds on the Zoom meeting right here. I don't know if it's actually, I just try to look at it and it says that I have Pro, so I don't know if it's going to actually cut off. And if it does, then we need to join. You probably deleted Discord, never mind. But never mind. We'll just cut it off.
If it cuts off, we apologize. We will get that corrected as soon as we can.
But I thought I did it before the meeting, which was, so I don't know.
What's the difference between regular Zoom and Zoom Pro?
So Zoom Pro for me, I can have is unlimited time, but if I make the meeting. But if someone else makes the meeting, they only have a certain amount of time per meeting. And I saw that, but I fixed it before this. But I guess it just didn't go through for this meeting.
Get your shit together, Zoom.
I know, it's whatever. So now we're down to Rick Ware. Do you want to talk about that real quick?
Go ahead.
Or ratings. We can do both real quick.
Oh, shit.
We'll go to Rick Ware first.
Okay. By the way, Cody Ware, please get off the track. Anytime that you're on the track, just don't. That's all I have to say.
Just don't.
Because you're making NASCAR into a soap opera with how you drive. So just get off. That's just my opinion about it. You literally told your dad that you were leaving last year. And then you made false complaints to Matt DiBenedetto's wife, saying that he cheated on her on Twitter and all this stuff. We just got to get him out of here. I'm sorry. But Daddy's money.
I don't even know what you're referring to, but that's some juicy stuff right there.
Yeah, he literally said something that... Okay, so last year in Darlington, during COVID, so apparently... Matt wrecked or something. Well, Cody had to slow down hard to miss it, and he blew his own tire because of it and went into the fence. No one even touched him, but he blamed it on Matt. And then he brought some stuff up saying that he cheated on his wife, which is like, who would say that? Like, who tells someone that? But
that's crazy, man.
And then
there's my dog.
James Davison literally pretty much said that he was mentally ill. That was his words. I'm not saying that he is. Please.
I did see that comment.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That's just super funny to me. He just needs to get his crap together, I think.
They should, but at the end of the day, they're just field fillers.
They're taking up... Okay, I'm sorry. But... So the charter system sucks really bad because they're taking up really good teams that can come in. So like JRM, they're taking up 4 spots that are automatically Rick Ware racing cars. But like JRM can buy them out from them. But of course Rick is going to be like, oh, well, they're $10 million a car. Like $10 million a charter. That's not even how much they cost. But they just jack up the price.
I think they're actually... it's a supply and demand issue. There's no real way to put a value on them. However, I do think NASCAR could step in and maybe put hey, you want a charter? This is how much it's going to cost you.
I mean, why don't we? All right, so personally, I'm just now learning about the charters within the past couple of years or whatever. Were there charters back 10,
no, it used to be
ago?
No, it was always race or qualify your way in.
Right, that's what I was saying. Why don't we go back to that? You know, point blank, if you're quick, you get in.
So we have
We can't right now.
We can't because
because of COVID.
Yeah, well, no, because the contract that we're under with the charters and like how much NASCAR has put into all that, which of course we can't see those legal fees and all that stuff.
Right.
That's none of our business, which I completely understand. But the problem with charters is it's very helpful for the teams that have them. Charters is great because it actually helps each purse of your position raise. Okay? So that's really helpful for the teams. But they don't understand the demand.
Oh, hang on 1 second, guys.
No, you're totally
Oh, you can keep going.
They don't understand the demand of what a charter could cost. So, like, let's say if they went up to 40 instead of 36, they would actually gain more from that, but it would be less per team. So it'd be like, so if you finish 5th, it wouldn't be, $1 million. Let's just, I'm not saying it's $1 million to finish 5th, but it wouldn't be $1 million, it would be 800,000.
Right.
Like, now you see my point. So they want to do less charters, so it helps the teams that are actually involved. So, like, you're not going to have Spire Motorsports, which they have.
You good?
Sorry, the notification just popped up.
Oh.
Sorry
you're
about
stroking out, bro.
No, I had to step away for a second.
Do we need to call an ambulance?
Nope. I had to step away for a second.
They're talking about me.
Oh man.
Okay.
I tried to mute it. Apparently, this doesn't mute it. This ends it.
Stupid Apple.
So, what just showed on my screen was your call is now in minutes, but it showed it went to 0. Like it went to 0, so I was afraid. I was like,
right.
Unlimited minutes. So I was like, okay. So we're here.
I literally was like, bro, is he dying? Like, you're just mid sentence and you're just like,
what is that saying? Oh, the charters.
Charters, yeah.
I think it's good at the time. It was a great thing to do.
Right.
Thinking wise, it really is. But you don't understand. I don't think they understood what it was gonna have.
What effect it would?
Yeah, I don't think
long-term effect.
But of course, with the next gen, we could get rid of them. Like
right. Especially with the cost efficiencies going down.
So hang on really quick, touching on that cost efficiency thing. They're actually looking at them. It's going to be almost the same price. However, there's going to be, at least at first, they will be the same price.
Right.
So over time, it will go down in cost. But to start them, it is going to be the same price as they are currently.
So they're actually going to be more than what the Gen 6 is?
Yes.
So, but they're reusable. So like
exactly,
everything is so durable that it can be reused. You know how they say, "Oh, this is chassis number 14. He's won 2 races in it." Like Harvick, his special Indianapolis chassis that he ran for a couple of years.
Right.
They really didn't use the same stuff. I'm sorry, they just used the same frame, and that was it. They didn't use the same engine. They didn't use the
right. Everything's brand new or different. Right.
I would say probably back in the 90s is when they actually did that. Like it was the same car.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I remember Hendrick Motorsports with Gordon, Terry Labonte. They would bring, we just 1-2 finished at Atlanta, take the same car to Charlotte, and then they would take it to everywhere else that's a cookie cutter. They would use the same car.
Right.
T-Rex.
And back then, I think it was
T-Rex.
a lot easier.
Yeah, T-Rex only had 2 races.
I think it was a lot easier for them to do that back then because the era wasn't so dependent as what it is now. And then on top of that, they're figuring out all these little aero things that they can improve their car and speed and so on. I think it's just a lot harder for them to literally take the exact same car and go somewhere else and do the same thing with it.
That's the point. But now with the new car, it should be better. But back to the charter system, you were saying, Dylan.
So, they can get rid of it easily within the next couple of years. It would just take a lot. A lot of the teams would have to be like, listen, the teams like it to a point because they know that they're going to get a certain amount no matter where they finish. Like, there's at least some money going into the business. And that's why it's great. But they don't understand, like, the people that are outside the Chargers that's trying to get in, they don't understand how bad that is for them.
Right. So, there's 2 spots that aren't chartered, correct? 2 cars a week?
4. If we have a 4-car field, it'd be 4. But
4, okay.
We usually only have like 38.
Yep. Like you said, though, they don't realize how much of an effect it can have, especially when we have someone as prestigious as Junior maybe looking to come in. Like just imagine. I don't know if there's any charter spots open. I don't know nothing about that really, but imagine that there's not. And then, like you said earlier, he wants to buy Rick Wares and he wants to jack the price up to 4 times the amount it's actually cost. For one, that's crazy, But if Junior wants him that bad, then, I guess he can pay it. Right. But it's just the fact that rather than paying for that, if this charter system wasn't even necessarily a thing, Junior could come in, immediately start funding good equipment, yada, 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 and then have a prestigious team that absolutely everyone would love. Like, just the thought of the fact of Junior starting a NASCAR Cup Series team, whoever the driver is, they are going to like that. It don't matter who the driver is. They are going to have fans immediately.
Bingo. And it would bring the older fans that kind of left the sport when Dale Jr. left.
Exactly. They're going to come right back in because Junior's running a team.
Yeah. Like, my dad, of course, he watches it every weekend, but I don't see the passion. Like, he loves Willie B. Like, that's his favorite driver right now. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't have the same passion as he did before. I mean, that because he was connected with Dale Jr., not because of his dad either. Like, he watched Dale Jr. Come up through, like, the late model Arcus part when he was in that situation. I don't know. It wasn't Arca at the time, but it was something like that.
We know what you mean.
He knew that Dale Jr. was talented, but he also wrecked a lot too, and he was like, "Oh, this guy's gonna be good. He just needs some time,"
Right.
And then he gets to Xfinity, he wins 2 straight championships back to back, and he was like, "Oh, he's definitely mine." Of course, I wasn't born, so I didn't know that, but this is just him telling me this, right?
Right.
And then when he leaves, his last race, I've seen my dad cry maybe 3 times in my lifetime. He cried at the 2014 Daytona 500. By the way, Dale Jr. won. He cried.
I remember.
His last Daytona 500, and then the day my little brother was born, he was super, excited. It was like emotional for him. Any other time, he's a hard ass. Like, he does not like. He's like, yeah, get it done. Like,
he's probably watching this live. He's gonna come busting like, "What you say? I ain't never cry, boy."
So that
the internet just goes out.
That would give the passion back to him. Not even because he wouldn't change drivers either, I don't think. But he would be like, "Oh, I have someone else to root for." Right?
Yeah.
Right. There's just like, "Oh, Dale Jr.'s back in the sport." Eventually, I think we're gonna see Dale Jr. in one of the executive roles here soon. I
agree.
Because
I agree.
He has made.
It won't be until at least his NBC contract is up. He has to be up with that. Otherwise, then you're going to look at confrontation issues, things like that.
Yes, could be, but I think everyone loves Dale Jr. so much. Even the people
they
that
ain't
say
even gonna care.
Even the people that hate his on track performance, which he's not the greatest. He's never said that, but he has made the sport as big as it is today, or as big as it was at that point.
Right. He helped, yes.
And because who would have been his fan base? Like, a lot of senior fans either went to Harvick or Dale Jr. That's it.
Yeah.
They didn't go to
majority. And I think a majority actually went to Junior.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, of course.
They felt like the pain. They all felt that.
the biggest issue that Junior had was, and he by no means tried to do it, was a lot of fans expected him to be like his dad. There's never going to be another Dale Sr., unfortunately.
Right. And not just, not just Dale Sr. fans, but I'd probably say even like 60% of the NASCAR fan base, period, expected him to go out and do the same thing. And it's just, not only is that hard to replicate, of course, but also into this era that Dale Sr. had left behind, it's harder. It's not the same of what it was 25 years ago.
You can't go out there and push the guy up to the wall and expect to still win the race, because then you're going to mess up your car.
Exactly.
And like when Jeff Gordon came into the sport, Dale Sr. didn't win another championship. Just think about that. He only won one out of that when Jeff Gordon came. Jeff Gordon
his rookie year.
Yeah, Jeff Gordon took over and of that era. And then you had, Dale Jr. raced against Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, a 5-time consecutive championship. That's insane.
I thought you were just going to say only 5-time champion.
No.
No, 7 total.
No, 7 total, but 5 in a row is something that will never be done again. Ever.
No. And I don't think 7's a reachable number under this current format. I think the biggest 4, I could see
3.
Chase Elliott getting it. I can see Ryan Blaney getting it. There's not a lot of other drivers that I see getting it.
Both of them are going to get it.
But I'm saying when you look at like Joey Logano, he's getting older. Denny Hamlin, not getting
really,
it. Kyle Busch.
No, Joey's about to hit his prime. I think.
I
that's
agree.
Scary. That's scary because he's
like
20,
I agree. He's like 28, something like that. Yeah.
He's 27 wins. I'm trying to think.
Oh, sorry, but yeah, he's only like 28 though, right?
Yes.
Or no? He's 20 and 08.
He's 32,
so he's
I believe.
32,
so
33.
Yeah. Years, and that's his
He's
prime.
30.
Oh, thank you, analyst. Appreciate that.
The analyst.
That's what we keep Dylan for, or DCD.
So
he's just there to look up things for us.
So 5 more years, he is in his NASCAR prime. 35 to 38 years old is your NASCAR prime statistically. Of course, that could change because of the
Today it is.
Yeah.
Today it is.
Right.
When Gordon came up, I would say the prime was
25.
It was actually
30.
Not even. I would say it was later.
I think it was 50.
You got
like 40.
It was like 45. Yeah, it was 40 to 50.
Oh, so you mean like when Gordon started? Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Gordon defied the odds. Gordon by age statistics shouldn't have been as good as he was.
Exactly.
No. You needed time back then.
Yeah, because you look at any like Rusty Wallace, Dale Sr., any of them. Yeah, they won races when they're younger, but they didn't compete. They didn't go out week in and week out and win races.
They didn't dominate. Like that's one thing that Jeff Gordon was good at. Like he just dominated the race. That's why he had a lot of as well. Like
because he changed the sport by being young and dominating. Him coming he actually ruffled feathers with the older guys because they didn't like it. Because they all put in their dues, they put in their time to get that good equipment,
and a lot of time too.
Yeah, not Buddy Baker's driving school.
I remember 10, 15 years ago or so, I remember my dad and my mom, they were always talking about Jeff Gordon. They'd be like, man, we hate Jeff Gordon. He'd be like, oh, I remember the day when Jeff Gordon go out, win a race. Next race, he'd finish third. Next race, he'd win. Next race, he'd finish second. Next race, he'd win. He was like, man, I hated Gordon. He'd be anyone but Gordon.
Anybody.
And the crazy thing is he was also cheering for Terry Labonte.
His teammate.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, because if Terry wasn't winning, Gordon was.
But no, because Terry's only got like 19 wins, something like that.
I have no idea.
I can't remember. I think it was more than that, maybe.
He's got
22, but he's got what? 2 championships? No, 1.
One.
But still.
I love Terry.
The same thing. He's got 11. He can just get 11 more and 1 championship. That's crazy. To have that same stats.
Yeah. Yeah, and that quick. That's a whole other. No disrespect to Labonte.
No.
Because Labonte was, like we said earlier, was a different era, whole different type of racing and everything.
Yeah,
I would say that Gordon started the era of the most competitive driving up until probably Gordon's retirement. Like that was the most competitive era, I think, of racing.
I agree, but as far as competitive, I would only say the top 15. Versus as of now, we could almost see 25 competitive. Competitive drivers.
Now on top, but back then it was a lot of single car teams though too. Single, like a 2-car team was like that was different.
So the span of 2003. Actually, I'm not counting 3 because that is just straight up dominated. 2004, so the chase area. That's when it started. 2004 to 2013 was probably the most.
Yes, that's a more specific time.
I thought. I'm sorry to interrupt you though, but I thought Kenseth only had 1 win that season.
Yeah, he still won the championship.
Yeah, that's back when that there kind of goes back to Harvick's. These championships aren't like what Petty and Earnhart used to win.
Right. I'm just confused as to why you said dominate. Like dominated point wise.
Yes.
So like I'm not talking about.
Because I was gonna say I don't remember much of that.
What he's doing. That's what Hamlin's doing now is what people used to do to win championships.
Right. Point racing.
That's exactly what Matt Kenseth did. Like he just finished top 5 every week. He didn't really win, but he just showed up every week.
He Matt Crafton.
But Newman 2014.
Yeah, Newman almost upset it the first year. The chase.
Yeah. Shout out to Harvey.
Almost. Could you imagine, man? I'm so glad he didn't, because realistically, as Kevin's career is sadly coming to a close, obviously, I don't think he's going to win another championship, sadly. So it's like, if Newman would have beat him there, that would have sucked, bro.
Really
I would have been so mad.
So Harvick would have been one of those drivers that everyone would forget too because he didn't win a championship. That's what sucks. So like Mark Martin's about to get in the era.
You would have remembered his tempers with Greg Biffle on pit road and things like that.
Yeah,
Biffle, Ricky Rudd at Richmond. Right. All the tempers and then the Atlanta win. That's probably all you'd remember.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, maybe. Nah, forget it. He wouldn't win that. Oh, his Daytona 500 win. Yeah, okay. Yeah. You remember.
Yeah, I remember watching that, man. I was on vacation in Gatlinburg.
Hey.
Yeah, I remember that one. That was awesome. I remember cheering in the hotel room. I was like, yeah!
Noise complaint.
I was about to go
Probably, bro.
What was that?
I was about to go somewhere with that. What was I going with?
2004
to 2013. Okay, those years, I mean, legit, you had Carl Edwards, Matt Kenseth, Jeff Gordon, Kyle Busch, Dale Jr., Jimmy Johnson, okay, Kevin
Mark
Harvick, Mark Martin. Who am I forgetting? I'm forgetting a couple. Who was like really big and strong at the time? Okay,
Casey Kane.
Only because he was really good at like mountain halves. He was just dominant on those.
Yeah.
And then of course you had the ins and outs of people going through there, and they were so competitive as well. So like.
Well, you look at the first year of the chase, for the chase of the Cup, Roush had all 5 cars in the chase. They took up half in the first year.
Yes, exactly. It's crazy. Carl Edwards, though, that is one guy that I think if he would come to the sport, he would come back to normal too. Like I don't think he would struggle.
He said that he was only interested in a one-off though, and at that it'd be a road course. I think he said.
Well,
last week or 2 weeks when he did that interview.
Yeah, he said I only do a one-off if we do 1,000 horsepower and no downforce. And I was like, that's impossible.
That'd be dope.
Go to IndyCar.
That'd be dope.
Come on.
Yeah, but IndyCar, they touch each other and then it's a big mess.
I would love if Edwards come back. I never fully cheered for him because I always stuck to my teams, but I just loved his personality, man. He had a personality like none other that we had seen in our lifetime, at least.
I think his wife had a big reason as to why he retired. Because that was around the time that Junior had his concussion issue, things like that. I think that they're kind of, in his wife's knowledge, because she is a doctor, I think that there is what pushed him to step away from the car, because it did come abruptly. It wasn't like it was a plan.
Right. And he also said, of course, we want to spend time with family, yada, yada, which I fully believe,
Yeah,
but
he retired young and sorry.
Yeah. I think his decision was pushed a little, but I also don't think he was unhappy with the decision. I think he was truly content with what he accomplished in his career. Obviously, it wasn't all of what he wanted to accomplish. But
honestly, I think that so people compare Denny Hamlin right now to Mark Martin, best to never win a championship. You can throw Carl Edwards in that ring too.
I agree, but at the same time, Edwards or Mark Martin didn't retire out of nowhere. Mark Martin raced for years, years. Like 4 times. I know.
Twice. Once we Rusty Wallace.
My point is, though, is he didn't retire young. You know what I mean? He had a lot of chances, a lot of opportunities. And like I said, nothing against Mark, because he was great. It just never worked out, of course. But I see what you're saying, that it's comparable, but at the same time, I think it's really different is all.
It is, but at the same, I'm saying, like, he's a Hall of Famer for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I think many drivers will be Hall of Famers eventually. Because
Rick Ware?
Okay.
No.
I said drivers, not...
He drove a couple of times, didn't he? Oh, okay.
Probably, honestly, but we just don't know about it.
Shoot. Oh, yeah. So I think a lot of drivers will be, because the era... We have a different Hall of Fame than other sports.
We do.
People don't understand that. People will be like, oh, he didn't win a championship. Why is Dale Jr. in the Hall of Fame?
Right.
No.
It's what you did for the sport, too.
We just talked about what Dale Jr. has done for the sport. He literally helped people get out of that, oh my gosh, my favorite driver just passed away in a car crash.
Mm-hmm.
And I think those fans helped him. I mean...
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it pushed him to keep going forward,
Well, he has interviewed about it. He doesn't remember that season up until Daytona. He said the whole season was just a blur.
It's crazy.
I believe it.
Because, you had, Teresa there as well. Like, that hindered his career. I think he would have won a championship. If Teresa wouldn't have put on this, everything's mine type of thing, I think he would have won a championship. I don't know if he would have. It's a what if still. But there was 5 years where he was just you could just see depression on his face.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's why I think and honestly, that was probably one of the best reasons why he went to Hendrick. I think Rick was able to give him that person to come to, which he didn't have his dad.
The father figure. Because they both lost something similar. He lost his dad and Rick lost his son, Yeah. So, they were, really close. And that's why they're so close today.
Oh, yeah. That would be interesting to see those two on the same, or in a cup track, or a cup race.
Yeah. How
the organizations would work together. Isn't Junior Motorsports, next door to Hendricks?
I don't think
right down the road.
It's got to be right down the road.
I don't know. Because...
I mean, it was started before he went to Hendrick.
Stat boy. Find out.
Stat boy. Stat boy.
While we go into that, we can talk about ratings while he looks for those information, and then we can...
All right.
Our Sunday's race was 2.2... or 2.3 million viewers. Let's just round up.
Yep.
That is not good. Yes, it was delayed, and yes, it was on FS1. I understand that. It was up from 2020, which we can't count that, but it was down 100,000 viewers from 2019, and that was on FS1 too. So
I think it's mostly because it went from being a night race to a day race. Martinsville under the lights is a totally different track now. We've seen it. That's what we want as fans. Give us that under the lights. Give us that light show at the end. We didn't get that.
I completely agree. I think, for one, what they need to start doing is moving the races to Fox, period. No more of this SFS1. Like, I understand why it's there. They need more channels for more programs. I get it. But if that's the case, make FS1 on basic cable.
Yeah.
Everyone can watch, period. You don't have to have the best of cables to watch it.
Yes, we had to fight against the Masters too. So that was the biggest golf that had 6 million.
As they did compete very well against the Masters.
Right. For 2 though, real quick, like you said, Thomas or Nick. I'm sorry, thinking about your last name.
Whatever.
Yeah, I'm just used to that. Like you said, Martinsville's a whole different animal at night. I think when they have, like, say, for instance, a night race that is delayed, run at the next race in the night. Sorry, it's a Sunday. You're going to be up late Sunday night. If you really want to watch it, you're going to be there.
They could have started that race at 6 and they would have been done by 9.
Well, they expect Saturday night races to be lower in viewership than Sunday day races because Saturday night, a lot of people don't think that NASCAR's on, not the actual casual viewer, just because they're not paying attention to the schedule. So I think them going to Sunday at 4 was a bad choice. I think they should have switched Xfinity, but Xfinity was already planned. So, like, let's say Xfinity was at noon, or a Cup was at noon. I think we would have had a little bit more viewers as well, because everyone would be, or the casual viewer would have been like, oh, NASCAR's on Sunday, or, oh, I just got out of church, so I don't know what that normal person does. Like, I'm just saying, like, a casual person.
A normal person.
Like you do?
Yeah, just like a casual person who watches sports. For me, if I see a baseball game, I might turn it on, but am I gonna really look to see who's playing? No, I don't watch baseball. But, like, am I just gonna turn it on because it's on? Yeah. But, like, and that's just it. I have a problem with the way they put FS1 out there, and, like, NBCSN. Obviously, we won't have that because of they kind of cut that off or whatever. We're getting into this age where our generation doesn't have cable.
It's streaming bases, packages, Peacock TV, things like that.
Yep.
So
trust me, I see it all day.
Me and Dylan, done with it right here. We don't sit here and just go to cable. I'm sorry, that's just not. I'm not gonna sit here and turn on my TV. I'm gonna sit here and turn on Netflix. So
I feel attacked right now.
I know. Chill. But that's the thing. We're not gonna just sit there and just say, hey, or we'll turn on YouTube, which YouTube is where we're on, and this is why we're doing this, is to create other fans that doesn't understand what NASCAR is all about. And that, I don't know. I just think that we do need to consider, like, the Iceberg. If you don't know who he is, by the way, if you're watching, he's really good on YouTube. He's really cool. But I think he said it right. We should just go to a streaming service. Like, I don't, just imagine, since we already got the crew on Netflix, what if Netflix had their first sport on there as NASCAR? Okay, just think about this.
That'd be amazing.
Do you know how many people would, like, be like, well, maybe this is, like, cool. And they turn it on, it's a live race, and you have Beating and Banging at Marsville. Like, people are going to watch that. Because they want to see action.
The only problem is that would be awesome. Then they'd also be competing with Hulu. You look at Amazon Prime now, they even have live football games. So it is doable.
Yeah, but, like, so that's the point. That's why you go straight to Netflix. You see what Netflix has. Because, like, they don't have a sport. Netflix.
No, they don't. There's movies and TV shows.
The biggest American sport besides football here. Like,
yeah.
Do you understand that? Like, Netflix could gain so much from that. I mean, what's his name? Who's on the crew? What's his name?
Kevin James.
Kevin James.
Kevin James. Bingo.
Of course, you had to ask that.
I know. I'm so mad. Kevin James would be so supportive of it. I think a lot a lot of actors and things like that actually watch NASCAR that's very vocal about it would be like, yes, let's do that. That's perfect. That would get Netflix to, it would get older generation to download Netflix. It would make them download it because they're going to be like, well, I got to roll watch my NASCAR, with my beer in my hand. Well, and they're going to do it.
Why? What's up with the attacks, man?
No, I don't know.
You're just attacking the hell out of Nick. Calling him old.
I wasn't calling him
God damn.
I'm sorry.
Talking crap about his job.
I know, I'm sorry. Hey, we do have, what's your thing called? What's your business?
Your business
spectrum?
I'm not
going to we're not going to discuss. Oh, great.
Sorry. Well, I have that, so you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for my paycheck.
Oh yeah, you're welcome.
DCD probably has Comcast. I'm done with the probably has Comcast.
Definitely has Comcast. I can see. I mean, my boy has an Android. Come on now.
Oh no, he got Sling.
I'm joking.
He got Sling.
Android's better. And also, Hendrick is 28 miles from Junior Motorsports.
That's what,
that took you too long. That took you too long.
Well, we were all talking.
We're talking.
You know what, DCD, this is a really good role for you. Just get those stats and just boom. Here you go.
I love this.
Statman.
Statman.
No,
Statman.
Do you think that we should
I'm changing my name to that?
Statman. I love that. No, I mean, I just think that would be a good idea. I think it would be an investment.
It could be.
That would be an investment that could go both ways. Okay.
Well, I feel like if they did it, they'd have to put it on both. They couldn't just put it on one.
Oh yeah.
They'd have to keep it on cable TV. No, I mean, like, they couldn't just go straight to Netflix. Like, they'd have to broadcast it on Netflix as well as putting it on Fox and stuff like that. But the problem is then Netflix has to get a contract with whoever the current TV provider is.
Yeah.
Well, so, I mean, realistically, it wouldn't cost that much to have two different broadcasts, too. Because you're not going to... So, personally, if you're a casual teenage viewer on Netflix and you want to watch it, you're not going to want to hear, Rick Allen, okay?
No.
You may want to hear Kevin James. So, here's my point. So
I could just picture Kevin James.
Just a thought. I think he would be great, but it would be...
I don't think he would...
It'd be so over the top.
Yeah, I don't think
Adam Sandler.
Oh my god, that would be terrible.
Kevin James, Adam Sandler, and Robin...
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart, yeah. Rob Schneider.
Rob
Schneider. Can you just imagine a picture of them three standing side by side? Rob would probably be in some sort of gimmick with a lazy eye on.
Shift.
Adam Sandler to be in a dress shirt with with basketball shorts.
Either that or just a dress.
No. Man, we are going way out of the race now.
Yeah, we're acting like this is like episode 50.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun, though.
We'll get to the upcoming race by episode 50. Don't worry.
We are an hour in. There's not much to talk about. Do y'all want to add anything?
Jennifer Jo Cobb is making her Cup Series debut for Rickway Racing in the 15.
As well as Harrison Burton with Gaunt Brothers. The 96 car. 96 car for him.
That's cool. I'll be for him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, I think if she can make it a lap around the track, 4 laps around the track without getting in the way, she's already won up Derek Cope.
And Natalie Decker.
Derek Cope. Oh, my God.
It's the same car number.
Oh, my God, Derek Cope.
Oh, my God. Up this weekend, though, as you can see from our background, we are going to Richmond Raceway.
I couldn't even tell that. To be honest.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you
yeah.
can't
Honestly, that's like probably the worst picture you could have chose.
Well, I was trying to get, you know what? See, I got because this says America.
Hey, Merca.
Mark. What do you got for the picks this weekend? TCD or Stat Boy?
Stat Boy.
Stat Man.
We're doing
Stat Man.
So Xfinity is off, by the way. So it's trucks and Cup.
Yep.
We can go one at a time though. So like, instead of like saying, "Oh, my suck pick is this," my who needs to perform, we can just like rotate instead of like going like.
Okay.
So who do you think is going to suck this weekend? Trucks and Cup, DCD. I'm done with it.
Hang on.
He's got to look at the list of drivers.
Pay attention to trucks that much, you know that. Stuart Friesen's going to suck.
No surprise.
And you know what?
What about Cup?
Cup to suck? Kyle Busch.
That's bold. That's bold.
It is the spring.
It's a bold move, Cotton, to see how it works out.
Nick, you good with your suck pick?
For Truck Series, I have for not having a good weekend.
The wording of that.
I think Matt Crafton is not going to be strong this weekend. You look at Thor Sports overall; two trucks show up a week, the other two don't. As far as who's going to be terrible, I feel like William Byron or Alex Bowman's going to have a bad weekend. I understand William Byron starting 5th. It is Richmond. It's another somewhat short track, but I think William Byron or Alex Bowman's going to have an off weekend.
You just made Dylan so mad.
I know.
All right, Mitch, you go ahead with your suck pick.
Wait till you see.
Hey, we can get sponsored by Coke. Come on, just show it in the camera real quick. There we go.
Coca-Cola. I'm the Coca-Cola racing driver of the league. The Biscuit League league.
You're the Busch driver.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I'm drinking.
Real quick, Nick, I apologize for just uncontrollably laughing during your whole entire speech. I don't know what the hell he said, but sorry. I couldn't.
What was it? Was it the Stat Boy?
No. So I said, you go ahead with your suck pick.
Oh.
And I lost it. I was like, suck pick? Like, oh, man. All right, so my suck pick for trucks. Haha. It's not that funny anymore.
I know.
Suck pick. I'm going to have to say Creed. I think Creed's not going to show up. I don't know why. For some reason, I feel like Creed is more of a 1.5 mile guy. I think he's not going to show up for the short track, especially in Richmond. Cup, suck pick. I think we're going to see someone surprising like Hamlin. I think he's going to suck. His first race of the season, he don't show up at.
Hamlin has 7 top 5s out of 8 races. Not going to
happen. Yeah, but you never know.
I bet Dylan's probably got an interesting one.
So my truck suck pick is KFB. I think he's going to overdrive the car, and I think someone's going to wreck him.
Oh, he's in the truck race this weekend?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think the suck pick at Richmond, statistically, he is terrible at this track. Ryan Blaney's going to suck.
That's a good one. Who needs a good run? Statman.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Damn it, Bobby.
The heck was that?
Austin Dillon. He showed up last race at Richmond, so.
What about trucks?
Yeah, you missed trucks.
Wow.
That's a good pick.
Haley Deacon.
Yeah.
Haley, yeah.
All right. I guess we're gonna. Oh, okay.
He's back.
Okay. It just glitched on me. Like you all went away. For me, for trucks this weekend, I do agree. Haley Deegan needs to show up as far as that goes. She's doing really good. She has been improving. She needs to pick it up a little bit more. For Cup Series, I think that Ryan Newman. Actually, no, not even. I'm going to go back kind of like, Ryan Newman. We'll just stick with it. I'm just going to go with it. Ryan Newman needs to show up. Granted, he had a good race at Bristol. He is currently, I believe,
18th in points.
18th? Yeah, 18th in points. He needs to show up so he can try to get back in that top 16.
I show up for Cup, or actually, I'm going to do Trucks first. Trucks, I think Crafton needs to show up. I mean, he's run decent all season so far, but nothing spectacular. He's just kind of around top 5, top 10. I think he needs to go out there, lead some laps, potentially get the win. Cup, show up. I'm going to go once again with Stuart Haas as a whole. They need to show up, continue to improve, make some ground, make some moves going forward.
That's good. I think so too, completely. My show pick for the trucks is actually Sam Mayer. Not because he doesn't perform. That is.
I almost said him.
But so, him and Ty and Arca together, racing for their championship. Well, Ty's in Xfinity showing what he's got. Okay.
Yep.
If they are really competing against each other, he needs to show up right now. He needs to go out and just flat out win, just to say, hey, I'm still in this, because everyone's gonna forget Sam Mayer if Ty Gibbs is doing what he's doing. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So,
right.
I know it's a completely different series, but I think that's the reason why he needs to show up. But Cup, oh, wow, that's pretty good. I think I'm gonna go with RCR, because Reddick hasn't shown speed besides Homestead, okay, but he has really struggled throughout all the races.
Yes.
Austin Dillon, of course, has started to show some speed. Of course, now we're at the short track, so it gives off that vibe of, it's all about your car. It's more about the skill. And he ran very well at Marsville. Of course, he got that 1 lap penalty, and he came back to finish, top 15 or whatever. But so that was really cool to see too, because he was honestly faster than all the Hendrick guys at one point.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, that was during the sunny part of the day, so it could have been different if he would have went tonight.
Yep.
But so I just think RCR just needs to show up completely. This would be their type of track, because Austin Dillon did really well in the playoff race, and that's what kind of got him to the next round as well.
Yeah.
So I think this will be the time for him to say, hey, I can actually win this without the stress of focusing on points. There's a foot in my screen. No, I just saw it. That was funny.
But
And then, but yeah, that's simple as that. And now, win pick. You can go ahead, Statman.
Ed Kozlowski.
Not bad.
That's a good one.
Who's your trick pick?
Trick pick. You know what? Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Ricky's
He's in
race.
trucks.
Ooh. For trucks?
13th in points. No, not for trucks, obviously.
That's
He
what
said,
we're talking
he said, what's your truck pick? And you said,
I
Ricky
thought he said
Stenhouse.
trick pick.
Oh, what's a trick
Your
pick?
trick pick?
Said it.
It's a trick.
Been bamboozled.
All right, so who's your actual Cup pick and who's your truck pick?
Still Brad and
All right,
Sheldon Creed.
trick pick.
I'm also going to go with Brad Keselowski this weekend for Cup. I believe I think that he's going to show up. He has to. I mean, both his teammates got wins. If he doesn't show up, there's something wrong. As far as Cup or trucks go,
Logano won? Where did Logano win?
Bristol.
Bristol.
Oh, duh. No, I forgot all about that. Sorry.
As far as trucks go, I think Kyle Busch is just going to show up, and he's showing up with an Xfinity car to a truck race, essentially.
That wouldn't surprise me there.
The only person I think that has a chance to compete with him is John Hunter Nemechek.
Yeah, I somewhat agree there. I think my truck pick for Xfinity is going to be John Hunter Nemechek. I think he's super fast, obviously. I was thinking that before you said it, believe it or not. I mean, he showed a lot of speed this season, obviously with being in KVM equipment. He's got the equipment behind him. I think he's got a lot of talent, and that is showing now that he has good equipment.
More than his dad.
Yeah. My cup pick. Richmond, man. I'm gonna go with Logano. He's been all of Penske's been decent there. Logano does have a win there back in 13, 14, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go Logano. I think he's gonna be strong. I think he's gonna maybe get his second win. Be the second 2-time winner of the season.
My truck pick is actually going to be Todd Gillan. He's a really good short track guy.
I like Todd.
I think this will actually give him a chance. I think he's the one who's going to wreck Kyle Busch for the win, by the way. He's going to completely dump him. Not even wreck him, just dump him out of the way. That's why he's going to suck. And then my cup win is Martin Truex Jr. 3 for be the. So he's not only going to be the first multi-time winner, but he'll do 3 of them back to back.
How many wins does he have there? Just 1?
2. Oh, at Richmond? 2.
Yeah. I knew it was at least 1. I just couldn't remember if it was more than that.
But yeah, I think Truex is going to get it done again.
I think we should add an extra thing, and who we hope will do good.
Who we hope.
Yeah.
So it's going to be our favorite driver.
We already know who that is.
So
it doesn't
2
necessarily
9s, a 48, and a 4.
It doesn't have to be, but.
So who do you want to win?
I mean,
just think of that.
Realistically, I would
this is who I want.
Realistically, I would love Chase Elliott to win. I don't think it's going to happen.
No, he's not really good.
But I would really like to see another Chevy driver in general win. They're falling behind as far as it goes to the manufacturer's championship. So I'm just going to say Team Chevy.
I obviously want Harvick to win. He does have 1 win there in the Cup back in 2013.
Yeah. 2006?
He did. I'm sorry. You're right. You're right. He did win in 06.
And then I was like, oh, wait.
You're right. Yep. You're right. I was thinking of the Bell helicopter paint scheme. It's all white.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you're right. Montoya was going to win it, and then it ended up coming down there through my checkered, and Harvick came from 7th with fresh tires in 1 lap, 7th to 1st in 1 lap. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But hopefully he does good. He's going to win there. He knows how to get it done, and he has been really good there in both Xfinity and trucks in the past. But
yeah, but they're struggling. We already know Statman would love for the Bowman Showman to take a W.
He ain't gonna win this season.
Yeah, he is. He's gonna win Dover.
I thought you were about to say he's gonna win
Dover. What the hell, like you do in the league?
And then Dylan.
Dover. Why Dover?
So that sounds good. That's pretty.
I'm looking at the schedule and it's sitting in my face.
So actually, the funny fact that you said that, I actually think he has a really good chance at Nashville. Because it's kind of like an intermediate Dover.
Has he ever run there before? Do you know?
No. No.
Yeah.
But then again, how many of them have ran there?
Hamlin.
A lot. Busch, Keselowski. Yeah. Kevin was actually the last winner there in Xfinity. 2011, something like that. 11, 12. He was the last winner, though. I do know that for a fact. But a lot of people actually.
I think Kyle Busch actually, I think Bowman will actually win Nashville. I don't know. I just had this feeling.
We'll come back to this.
2010, Mitch.
2010. Okay, I knew it was something like that. Honestly, though, I think Busch is going to win. As much as I want Harvick to win, I do think he'll do decent. I think Bush is going to win. I think he's going to go back there and just. The only thing I can think of is when. You remember when Kyle Busch won and just destroyed the guitar?
I was just talking about that today, actually.
Yep.
I think we're going to see a repeat of that.
I thought that was hilarious. I mean,
my parents hated it. My parents were so mad.
Well, the only cool part about that is he smashed the guitar, but he gave the pieces to his crew.
To the crew, right? Right. The objective in it is great. It is a huge gesture to your crew and how much the work they do. But my parents were so mad. They were like, "That's a one-of-a-kind guitar. Why would you smash it?" Like, they were heated, man. Heated. I remember.
It's not like it's a grandfather clock. It's just a guitar.
Could you imagine if you wanted just shoved it over?
Oh, God.
Shoved it off the stage? Oh, that'd be crazy. What? Everyone take a number.
Now, who I want to win? Obviously Chase. But actually, I want Kyle Busch to win this weekend. Because
he needs it.
Okay. Not because I'm a huge Kyle Busch fan. But he
You're
really
not.
Because I'm not. But I just think he dominates the spring race in Richmond like all the time.
Usually.
Remember the COT where he literally won 4 consecutive spring races?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
By the way. By the way,
and not only during that time with the Richmond, he was just killing all the short tracks at that time.
Yeah.
By the way, you remember what he won on his birthday at Richmond? Nashville's on his birthday.
Is it really?
Yeah.
No, wait. So, it's someone's birth. No, it had.
Someone's birthday. You're right. No, wait. It might not be. Someone's birthday is that day. Someone was born that day.
No, one of these races is Kyle Busch's birthday. Like, I know for a fact.
I believe it.
And that scares me because...
Statman, what is it?
May 2nd is his birthday.
Okay, what race is on May 2nd?
Kansas.
There we go.
Oh, Bushy McBush.
Bushy McBush. Bushy McBush. Bro, dude. There's no better winner. It better be a Bush or Kevin Harvick that wins that race.
The Bushy McBush wins the Bush.
Won by Bush.
And somehow transferred into the Bush car in the 4. Harvick and Bush switch.
Bro, could you imagine like a 3-wide battle? Kevin Harvick, Bush, and Bush.
The 3 Bushes.
Bush, and Harvick in the Bush car come 3 wide to the checker flag in the Bushy McBush race. Which Bush will it be?
You over here, Clint Boyer, be like, "Hold my beer!
Hold my beer!" Bush.
Oh.
All right. Well, that is another episode of the Out of the Draft podcast. I'll make sure I got that right this time. Sorry about that.
Somebody send this to Eric.
Someone send it to Eric. I just want to say thank you for watching, tuning in. We had a consistent of 5 viewers. That was really good. No comments, though. So if you're in the chat, please know that you can comment. We'll definitely answer throughout anytime. It's went an hour and a half tonight, which was really fun. I thought that was cool. But
I had to watch it. It would tell me it's past my bedtime.
I know. Old guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Still on cable.
Go back to work.
Still on cable.
Not only still on, he installs it.
And repair.
All right. Well, y'all have a good night.